All right. How we all doing? Episode 12, We Are Family, Pittsburgh Sports Podcast. Great to be here. I'm here with Jake Bell, as always, and Pirate P, Peyton Celesti. And we got a ton to get into, so let's just get right into it. But first, I want to shout out Anna Jean and Manny and everybody for Peyton's friends and stuff for
Luke Hilliard.
And Luke
he
Hilliard.
wasn't here yesterday, but
for getting me
night.
and Cashman getting tickets for the game. That was awesome. We had a blast.
Brian Cashman is in town. We don't know if he's joining the pod today because he's got to catch a flight back, obviously, to LA. But he might stop by. We're waiting. He's a game time decision for the podcast today. Might join us at the end. We have this seat waiting for him over here.
So shout out to them. That was a great time. Had a blast. First time for me in the student section, and it was awesome. Just a crazy game. And we're going to get right into that game. Pitt with a resounding 41-13 victory over Syracuse. We all saw that one coming, of course. We all saw five interceptions.
Saw it coming.
We all knew that was going to happen. The script, we had the script.
Yep. The Sharks ate.
Yeah,
the Sharks.
Yep.
The Sharks.
Sharks ate up all the oranges.
And I want to we got to talk about the defense first.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's specifically the linebackers because they're just, I can't remember off the top of my head a linebacking core for Pitt that's been this good and this talented.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's 2 games in a row where the offense didn't have to do much at all, and we won. And this one was a domination. This wasn't like the Cal game where we won by 2. We got lucky with a missed field goal. This was an absolute domination by the defense. This is the best defensive performance I've seen live since I can remember watching Pitt. And I know I mentioned this on Sideline, if you guys watch Sideline. On Case, I mentioned how 3 years ago, if Pickett doesn't do much offensively, we lose. That's just how it's going to be. This team is able to find ways to win whenever one side of the ball is not operating like they should, and that's a good sign. And a team like Syracuse, who this should have been a high-scoring close game, and it wasn't. This was a domination. Kyle McCord looked awful. Like I hate calling someone awful on here, but he knows that. Like he looked awful, and it was just insane how great the linebacking core did. I mean, they had all of the turnovers, and it was just really cool to watch.
I mean, the linebacker core is their strength. And then we look at the rest of that defense and, going into the season, based on what we saw the first 5 games, right? It's like this defense isn't very good. But then the last 2 weeks is like Cal's offense is hit or miss. It's like, do we take that seriously? That game was just kind of fluky. Like, Pitt should have lost that game. There's a couple games this year. It's like, how is Pitt winning this game? But then you look at an offense like Syracuse, which is averaging probably over 30 points a game. And Kyle McCord, a veteran quarterback. We know, I mean, he played at Ohio State. The Ohio State fans don't like him, but, he was serviceable at Ohio State. He won games. And he's killing it in the ACC. And credit to Pat Narduzzi, I guess. He made him look like a fool. I mean, the blitzes they were dialing up, the pressure, the defensive line won the line of scrimmage all night. And yeah, he was just confused. He wasn't reading anything. And what was also impressive, we were winning one-on-ones, which is what Narduzzi relies on. I think that goes to show there's some improvement with the corners. And I felt like there were some downfield shots. Like it was like, okay, we got that was good coverage. Like that's good to see. But yeah, the linebacker core is really good, and they're young. A lot of them are young, and they're still getting better.
I'm older than most of them.
Braden, is it
Brandon George?
Brandon or Braden? I always
Brandon
forget. Brandon George. He's kind of like the veteran guy. Had that incredible interception. When that play happened, I was like, what the hell just happened? like where did the ball go? And I watched the replay, and it was at that point, it was like
destiny.
This team, this is the game is destiny.
Yeah.
And I thought when it was 17-24, they're gonna make some sort of comeback. Like Kyle McCord's gonna get it going.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. It was one of those games, and I said we talk about the Steeler BS, the Stiller BS. I said that was a whole nother level of BS. The Panthers have created a whole nother level because the offense didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Nate Nate. I was about to say Nate Yarnell or Nate Holstein. Eli Holstein. I mean, he looked like garbage for most of that game.
Yeah.
And that's my concern is when you play the last 5 quarters or so, because the second half against Cal and most of that game against Syracuse, where's the offense been?
Right.
And when you face SMU, I know the defenses look good, but I mean SMU, they're probably going to put up some points on our defense. So
Right.
Holstein's got to get into a rhythm. The running game was pretty decent last night, not fantastic, but the running game's got to be good to help Holstein because he's still a young quarterback. I mean, we obviously saw he was making some mistakes last night.
Yeah, I mean, and back to the linebackers. I think Biles, George, and Kaluska, he got the pick six
he got
too.
the pick
No,
six.
Braylon Lovelace.
Lovelace did too.
He got
All
one.
4
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Oh,
And then what was the 5th?
Jordan Bass had like a good.
Yeah.
He had a couple really good plays too, and he was in. It's just crazy how good the linebackers are playing. But back to this defense. I mean, it was crazy. This is one of the first games where Pitt consistently won the 1v1 battles.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember like even against Cal like there were some times, but it was just dominant. I felt
Yeah,
like
the only times guys were open, it was because we blitzed. It wasn't because the cornerbacks didn't do their job. I
Right.
mean, we only had 1 pass interference at the end of the game whenever it didn't matter. Everything else, it was just constantly winning one-on-one. It was crazy.
Yeah, and back to Holstein, we're gonna get to the SMU game in a second, but Holstein, he left the game. Now I thought it was just
I thought they just where was the injury? What was
but
the injury?
apparently he I don't know, something with his head. They took him to the tent, and people were saying like
boy.
possible concussion. But after the
That's
game,
not good.
Narduzzi said he was fine
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's what I heard.
Well, you got to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
But at least
You know.
the good thing is here though.
We have a capable backup quarterback.
Yeah.
At least we think.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
like a Nick Patty type backup,
Right.
basically.
But the problem, with that is we're playing SMU next
Right.
week,
Right.
And we need
we're gonna have to
someone
put
who's
up
going to
points
be
Exactly.
dynamic.
because
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
like if that game's not in the 30s, the high 30s, something like this game, like something went way wrong
Yep.
for one of the teams. So let's get into the SMU game because Pitt now 7-0. Undefeated. Who knows? Depending on Pitt's like the first game of the week, basically for the ranked team. So who knows what's going to happen for the teams above? They could slot in, 16, 15. They could be around there.
Who would have thought?
And who
Oh
would have
my
thought?
gosh.
But now this is 3 of the last 5 games for Pitt. I think are going to be really tough. I think
I
at
agree.
SMU, Clemson, and nobody's really talking about at Louisville.
Yeah.
But I
Louisville's
think.
a good team. They've
They
lost
are.
some close
And there's
games.
something like I really am worried about that game because we beat them last year. And I'm
Yeah.
just like really.
And the Louisville atmosphere in
superstitious
that
about it.
stadium is just insane too. Like that's gonna be tough. That's
Yeah.
gonna be tough on Holstein. So we'll see.
So I want to get to some keys for Pitt against SMU to get the win because Kevin Jennings obviously is a really good quarterback as well for SMU. They had a quarterback battle, which is crazy. Preston Stone was awful
Yeah.
to start the season, even though last year he was pretty serviceable.
Yeah, he was solid.
Yeah, he was a
For
solid
sure.
player, and he was like the starter going into the year. Everybody was thinking he had the leg
I'm gonna
up.
be honest. I don't know any of SMU players.
Okay, well,
I haven't watched any.
I'm only
SMU
good at
games.
quarterbacks. Like it's tough for like.
Well, I did see this.
All I know is they put up a lot of those Mustangs. They're riding. They put
had-
up points.
They had a bit of a
They-
slow start, right?
They beat
Yeah.
Nevada by 6.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they lost at home to BYU.
But BYU's a good team.
Yeah, we
They are a
thought they
good
were a
team.
bad team, but they're
Yeah.
actually pretty good. But some news. So Jennings obviously is really good, but also he can throw the ball, but he can also use his legs too. He's
Yeah.
kind of a dual threat in that regard. So we'll present a different challenge for
Can't
Pitt.
just blitz against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If based on what you're saying.
McCordon made sense because he's really going 3rd down. You don't want to drop back because he's going to make every throw. You'd rather have him put pressure and make him think. But with a guy like Jennings, if he escapes the pressure, you got no one.
Right.
Unless you have a spy, like you got no one to stop him from getting a 1st down. So
But I saw this yesterday. Big news for SMU. Hard news for them is R.J. Maryland, their star tight end. He's out for the season.
yeah,
Oh wow.
So
yeah,
that helps our linebackers to
it does,
narrow
'cause-
things down.
because Pitt is bad with tight ends. We've
They
seen
are.
that week
Yeah.
in and week out. But he is a different kind of tight end too. He's been crazy good for them.
yeah.
And so that's a big blow for them. But I was hearing that College Game Day potentially could, if SMU takes care of business against Duke, College Game Day could be down there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Fort Wayne. for Pitt SMU, a ranked on ranked matchup, potentially top 20, which would be kind of crazy.
Yeah. Who would have thought Pitt against SMU, a ranked battle in the ACC?
I know.
That's
and
crazy.
I wonder what the line is going to be. I was thinking about this. I don't think Pitt's really respected yet
Yeah.
to the level that, and I don't know if they've.
I mean, let's be honest about Pitt, okay?
Yeah, we're
there are a
being
couple
honest.
of games that they could have been easily like 3-4-3, 3-4, something like that right now. I mean, the West Virginia game, I mean, they should have lost that. Cincinnati, they got dominated for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Cal, that was really, I mean, Cal sucked for most of that game, but our offense did absolutely nothing to the point where if they had any other kicker in the country, Cal wins that game. That kid, by the way, is from Washington, PA, the kicker. When he missed, it was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And it looked like such a weak kick. It's like,
It was.
how do you find,
Yeah, it was.
how can you not find a better kicker? I feel really bad for the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pitt is not an elite. They're not what they were going to be ranked.
Yeah.
They're not really a top 15 team or anything like that.
It hurts them because they went 3-9 last year too. Like if they would have had 3 consecutive seasons ranked, because they had the first 2, but if they would have been ranked last year, this would be a different story. They would probably already well be in the top 15, I believe. I would say they could contend for top 10 if they were ranked last year. But obviously going 3-9, you could say, oh, this is like a fluky stretch. So like that's a big loss for Pitt.
But with Barduzzi's defense, which I don't trust because of his scheme, although I think independently players are getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll really see next week if that defense is actually improving. We'll see. That'll be the real test.
It's definitely the toughest test so far.
And I don't trust the defense enough. And this offense, I know people are like, we are high on Cade Bell, but like, I think teams are starting to figure it out. Like, we don't run under center. Holstein really can't read the field. You could confuse Holstein. You can confuse him. I just feel like at some point luck is going to run out. And I said going into last night, I was thinking, if Pitt can go 500 in their next 6 games and finish 9-3, I think that's a good season for them.
Yeah.
And I still kind of believe that, especially 3 of the next 5 games are going to be really challenging. And then Virginia's not. I mean, they've had some decent games this year.
Yeah, they've looked solid.
And Boston College has been good at those aren't guaranteed wins either. So if they can win 3 of the next 5, that would be amazing. If they could win 2, I'd be like, okay. If they go 2-3 over the next 5, be like, it would be kind of disappointing, I think. But this team they're not as good as their record shows. But I give them credit for continuing to fight and show the spirit. It's a magical season right now.
Yeah.
And if they beat SMU, the SMU game will really tell how magical of a season this is going to be. Because if you beat SMU, right, you have a legitimate path to win 10 games or 11 games. And that's a big deal. And if they lose to SMU, I'm going to be like, okay, the magic's kind of over. We might win 9 games. Maybe we win 10, that would be cool. But you beat SMU, you're in the driver's seat a little bit in the ACC.
Right.
But Miami's undefeated, Clemson's undefeated. But behind those 2 teams, right, you kind of be in the driver's seat other than that. So it's a huge game. Yeah,
and the tough part about that too is Miami has such an easy schedule the rest of the way. The Louisville game was like the toughest.
The ACC has been carrying them with the Virginia Tech call, and I do believe that they were helping them a little bit because they want Miami to be relevant.
And they want them in the playoff.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they want the ACC to look good, even though it's hot garbage in football, let's be honest. But Miami, I hope they have a stupid loss. I really do at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it will be I mean, if they win against SMU, then if you split against Clemson or Syracuse, win one of those, or Clemson and Louisville, win one of those games, 11-1,
you have a chance.
And if you're like,
I just don't see it happening. The luck has got to run out. Like this SMU game, I would be shocked if they won. But I've been shocked about a lot of things with them this year. So, I mean, let's see if the magic continues. Let's see.
Yeah, it should be a great one. I think they don't have a time for that one yet. I wonder where that's going to be, what time that's going to be. That could be a crazy. I mean,
That
might
should be a prime time game.
It should be, and it'll have huge implications for both teams. Because SMU, if they win, I don't think the rest of their schedule is daunting at all either. So they could have a chance to.
They're undefeated in ACC. They only lost to BYU.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Pitt's literally playing against teams that are competing for the ACC
right
the rest of the way.
Yeah, they
have to do their job.
They basically eliminated Syracuse.
Yeah,
because Syracuse we still have a chance. No, sorry, no, you don't with that quarterback right now.
Yeah.
But and then hopefully next week, against SMU. Oh, we have a chance to make it. No, you don't. Sorry.
They got to keep things simple for Holstein. I think they try.
Yeah.
He tries and makes it too complicated, like pass 3 to 4 times in a row. It's like we need to be a little more conservative, and that's the thing. I think we're too hyper aggressive on offense. I think it's so much better than what it was, but I don't understand why we don't have any under center packages. That's what I can't.
Yeah, and I hate running on the inside with Desmond Reed. I'd rather have Hammond or Carter, who's a bigger back. Like I'd rather have Reed in space and make him move.
Yeah.
He has been fantastic though. He's made the most of every opportunity, every single run. He fights, tries to break a tackle. I mean, he's a 5'7" or 5'8" tank.
Yeah, he
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem, I completely agree. You need to run him outside. Running him inside, and it opens up injury for him.
Right.
It just makes it, but the only problem is becoming predictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very true.
That's thinking about that. If you bring Rodney Hammond in or Daniel Carter in, they know you're going to run on the inside.
Right, that's
so
very true.
But it could be a pass too. They could be blocking. I don't know. But, so then if Des Reed comes in, but he's going to be in a majority of the time anyway. He's going to run inside still, so I don't think that should be an issue.
Yeah.
But
the only way that would work is if you run heavy play action every time you throw the ball.
Right.
That's in my opinion, the only way.
I am just a little concerned we're becoming a little predictable now. They have the tape. It's just shotgun, 5 wide or trips right, trips left.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Cave Bell keeps finding ways to in some of these games, where we're behind to get it going. So, big game next week.
Yep.
I want to end Pitt with this. Tweet from Andrew Filipponi on October 24th, last night at 7 o'clock. Pitt fans, this is the man who will break your heart tonight. Kyle McCord, the best pocket quarterback in America. Unfortunately, he will lead the Orange to its first win in Pittsburgh since 2001. The final score, Syracuse 31, Pitt 30. Now, I did have Syracuse winning, but because I always think Pitt's going to lose, generally. But, I didn't make this tweet, so...
I like how he said, unfortunately. Isn't he he's a Syracuse alum, I believe, right? He's pretty...
And that's why I think he secretly likes Syracuse.
Well, I would, too. It's my alma mater.
To his defense, Kyle McCord has been very good.
Yeah.
But this is why he went from. We obviously see this is why he went from Ohio State to Syracuse. That game kind of showed.
Yeah, it did.
That was historic. And they kept shooting themselves in the foot. They dropped a touchdown pass. They got an interception, roughing the passer. It was so much BS.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everything that went wrong for them could have went wrong. It was so laughable.
Yeah, so Pitt 7-0, 41-13 victory over Syracuse. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Steelers a little bit, some Stiller football. Nobody believed. Nobody believed. I didn't believe that they would beat the Jets.
I absolutely did not believe.
Let's ride.
And they end up not only beating the Jets, but kind of pummeling the Jets, really, 37-15. It was 15-6 at one point, and then the Steelers go 31-0. From that point. I want to talk about Russ because that's the big thing with the Steelers team right now. He started off very shaky, to say the least, getting some of the rust off a little bit, I think. But after that, I thought he was great.
He got the rust off, and then he was riding. He was getting on that horse. He was riding all the way to the end zone against the New York Jets.
Jets.
Suck. Shout out to Randy.
But so what do we think? Russell Wilson, I think everybody thought it was a pretty good debut. Couldn't have gone really any better, especially after that first quarter. And the Steelers right now 5-2. They got the New York Football Giants coming up on Monday night. should be 6-2. I say should be because
nothing to guarantee.
you never know with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The NFL.
And it's the NFL, yeah.
And the Giants play way better on the road than they do at home. And when Brian Dable can cook, here's the thing: Daniel Jones is very limited. But when Brian Dable can cook up a scheme that works, and a game plan that works, and a script that works, and the defense doesn't adjust to it, the Giants can have a good offense.
Yeah.
They have a good offensive line. This Tyrone Tracy's been pretty good for them. They got Malik Neighbors. But it all depends on if the game plan will help Daniel Jones or not. Because if it doesn't, if Daniel Jones isn't somewhat on, I mean, it's Jover.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But we'll get to that game. I want to talk about my man Russ. Because we've been saying on this podcast, look, Justin Fields, he's doing all right, but and people thought, oh, this is Justin Fields' job, like in the beginning of the season. And we're like, I'm telling you guys, we were all saying it, Russ is going to get his opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, how we felt about that was very different. I've always been on the Russ train. I have. I like him more. I wanted to see what he can do. Now, my main concern was, will his accuracy as a quarterback and the ability to read the defense, will that be an advantage over rather than just having Justin in his legs? And we saw at times it was like, man, we could really use Justin with his legs. And that's why I'd like to see some packages with Justin.
Right. Yeah.
And I think eventually they may do that. But Russ proved he's still got it. He's still got it. And not to an elite level anymore, but he can read the defense. He can make the throws. He can get the balls to the playmakers, and he still can move well in the pocket. I mean, he faced pressure for a lot of that game last night. We were at the Pitt game last night. Last week I was at the Steelers game last week. Though I've been at Acrisure Stadium like 90 times over the last.
I'll be at
couple
the
of
game
weeks.
Monday, so if you see me,
Well,
yeah.
But my man Jake Bell over here. And a lot of Steeler fans were like, it's outrageous. Justin Fields 4-2. He's the future. You have to see what he can do. He's the future. People. He can't read a defense. You can't just assume that that's going to be the future. Russ still got ball left. He could still maybe play for another 2 to 3 years, and then you could maybe draft a quarterback. Did you think about that? No, people didn't think about that. And Russ showed what he can bring. I mean, George Pickens was the most involved he's ever been involved. Now, to be fair, the Jets had some issues in the secondary. But, I mean, I got to give Coach Tomlin a lot of credit because people in that locker room didn't want Russ to start. All the fans didn't want Russ to start. I mean, they were, after 2-3 drives, they're booing Russ. I'm like, he's going to be rusty at first. Like, I expected that. He's going to be rusty. You got to give him time. And they had a couple nice drives in the second quarter, and then it took off from there. And the Jets' defense is really no joke. Well, I guess without Robert Saleh, they kind of are. But, yeah, Russ is my quarterback one. I think he's going to ride it the rest of the way as long as he stays healthy. I'd like to see Justin Fields packages, but I'm with Russ. I bought a Russ jersey on eBay, $50, not a bad deal. Let's ride. That's all. Let's ride. And I know that some people want to see what Justin Fields does, but look, the deal with Justin Fields is he's a high-end backup with a low-end starter ceiling. Yes, his legs make him dynamic, but the passing game will not get going. And eventually teams are going to be able to... I mean, Justin Fields will have his run plays, but like we saw in Chicago, they're going to create... He's going to have his turnovers. That was going to start happening. We saw that in the Raiders game and the Cowboys game. There were some bad reads there. And what does Tomlin hate? Turnovers. What does Russ not do, really? That much? Turn the ball over because he could read it. He had some fumbling issues, but we saw that in Denver, Russ can still play. He could still play. He could be a top 15 to 17 quarterback in the league. And with this Steelers defense and with the roster that they had, which I think is the best in 5 years, this is a team that can be capable of finally getting that playoff win this year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, as much as I wasn't fully sold on Fields, and I still don't think he was going to be the future. I did want to see how he would do in the full season, but the Steelers are a team that they want to win now. They focus on winning now. They don't care about development. They want to have the best team possible to win now. It shows on their offseason moves, and it shows by bringing a guy like Russell Wilson in. And starting Russell Wilson, that is your best opportunity to win now. I don't blame them at all. I knew they were going to start Russell Wilson based on knowing Tomlin and his old school mentality. He's not going to have a guy lose his job because of injury. That's just how it is. And while it might be different for a lot of newer coaches, it's not going to be that way with Tomlin. And with Justin Fields, I still am going to be sad not seeing what he can do in the full season. But at the end of the day, Russell Wilson looked much better.
And if Russ, and here's the thing, it was just one game.
Yeah.
So there's always a chance that Russ, really stinks.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have some bad games,
Right.
I think. But he's going to be, overall, he's going to be okay. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the best option for this offense.
Yeah.
But if it does go horribly for some reason, it turns out Russ is washed, like some people think, then you could always go back to Justin. But to think that Justin is the franchise guy,
yeah, I mean,
he can't read the field. He just can't.
Yeah.
He's a one-read guy, and you can't. We saw that with Pickett, and I said he's just Kenny Pickett with more athleticism. I love to. If all things work out with Russ, and this is what I think is the ideal situation, you sign Russ for 2 to 3 more years. This is a big if. We got to see how things play out, but you sign Russ for 2 to 3 more years, and then because this quarterback class this year, Steelers aren't going to find a guy. You got to
Right.
wait for the right opportunity to find that guy, and you'll have time over the next 2 to 3 years to find that. And hey, I keep drafting. I'm not against teams drafting a quarterback late every year.
yeah.
4th, 5th, 6th round.
Yeah.
You can never have enough options with quarterbacks, and you can never see enough guys.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and with Russell Wilson, like, against the Jets, it looked like he could sense guys open. Like, it was crazy. Like, he was getting pressured on a blitz, and then all of a sudden, he finds a receiver open on a crossing route.
Pat Freiermuth.
Yes.
That was honestly, people don't talk about that play,
Yeah.
but that was his most impressive play in the night.
Right.
That only led to a field goal.
Yeah.
Or maybe, actually, I think we punted on that drive.
Yeah.
But still, that guy was right in his face. He stepped up in the pocket and just
Yeah.
kind of like, he didn't even like look at him. He just kind of, he looked at him, but he was just kind of sidearmed it
Yeah.
around the guy. And Justin Fields, he's taking the sack there.
Yeah.
He is. And my concern with Russ is he does hold the ball too long.
Yeah.
But play action, I think it kind of speeds him up. And we saw
Yeah.
a ton of play action. We know Russ is at his best with play action. Arthur Smith and Russ, that's why I thought they were a great fit, and we saw that. Now, I thought the play action maybe was a little overboard at times, but they wanted to get Russ as comfortable as possible, and the
Right.
play action is what does it.
And there's one more thing I want to say. I don't want to
Nate
like
is
keep
not
you
gonna
quiet. Yeah.
talk.
No,
That's
I'm just-
my fault.
no,
I've
no,
been
you're
going
good.
on and
But
on.
I'm
no,
the host. I'm just letting
But
you
no,
guys
so
go.
like I just want to mention like hopefully if Russell Wilson works out and we can keep him another year or two, I don't think there's any in this draft unless I'm just don't really realize. But I want the Steelers to draft a guy that has all the talent in the world, but we have to teach him how to be a quarterback. That's because guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, they had all
Right.
this physical, great skill set, but they needed to learn how to be a quarterback. And if you bring in a guy like similar Anthony Richardson, I think the Colts are screwing him over, in my opinion. But like a guy that just has all the talent in the world, if you have him sit behind Russell Wilson, this is a guy that, like you said, doesn't turn the ball over. He has experience winning the Super Bowl. He knows how to read defenses
He's
very
a
well.
great locker room guy. And I think
Yeah.
some players, like in Seattle, they didn't like him because
Yeah.
he's a little cringy.
Right.
But I think the Steelers' culture kind of fits his personality a little
Right.
bit, the cringe side of it. And I think that he really is a leader, and I think
Yeah.
he's a great person. He's just a truly great person. He was a Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, and I think that's great for Tomlin in the locker room.
Right. Yeah.
And for any quarterback they might bring in the future.
Right. And I want to see a quarterback like that sit a year. I don't want to see us start a quarterback right away. Like I know Pickett was limited, but we put him in a horrible situation because Trubisky was horrible. Because we didn't bring in a serviceable bridge quarterback. And I don't want that to be the case again. If Russell Wilson is going to keep this up, you got to keep him around and have the quarterback of the future sit at least a year behind him and then have him take the reins whenever Russell Wilson's at the point where he's just getting too old. Like how we're seeing Aaron Rodgers right now.
I mean, Russell Wilson was better than Aaron Rodgers.
He was, by far.
Who would have thought that coming into the season? The Jets, I mean, that was really, there's panic going on with the Jets. I mean, it's just a dysfunctional
There's always
mess.
panic with the Jets.
It's a
Yeah.
dysfunctional mess because they have the talent.
Yeah.
It's just like Aaron Rodgers just turned this into a circus, firing the coach. I mean, now the defense doesn't look the same. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to beat the Patriots again. I mean, that was really bad. And we all had the Jets. The only one who didn't have the Jets, Cashman.
Yeah.
He believed in the Pittsburgh
Cashman,
Steelers.
he did.
Dude, he's just on another level with this pick so
Yeah.
far.
We're going to
He's
get
just-
into
we're
that.
gonna get into
We're
that,
gonna-
but yeah,
Nate, we want to hear your thoughts
yeah,
on
well,
this
I mean, I agree
situation.
with basically most of what you guys are saying. I don't want to go too crazy about Russell Wilson. I will pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
He way exceeded my expectations, okay? I will admit that.
Yeah, same
And
here.
their thing was he was rusty.
Yeah.
You could tell. And I think things are only going to get. Well, no, I wouldn't say like his production will be about the same, but I think things will look smoother as the weeks go along. And because I'd like to see I'd like to see him scramble a little bit because we know Russ can scramble.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was moving around the pocket, but didn't seem like he's still with the calf and everything. First game, he didn't feel all that comfortable like scrambling for 5 yards,
right,
which
yeah.
is a little concerning. Russ isn't going to be a superstar. He's going to have some bad games, and when he does have that bad game, people are like, "Put a Justin Fields." I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna say, guys, it's one game. Calm down. It's 2 games. We're good. And this week's game against the Giants, I'm concerned about this game. But go ahead,
All right,
Nate.
we'll get into that game just a little bit, but what if he starts becoming 2-3 games though when Russell Wilson's struggling?
If it's 4 or 5, if it's like 3 or 4 games, then we'll have to have a
Because
conversation.
we know, because like you guys have said, this is a huge year for the Steelers. This is a year where they really want to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. And I think, obviously they gave Russell Wilson, you're going to be the starter. They gave him that promise. But I feel like if he just doesn't now. It was one game and he played great, so I'm not trying to say he's gonna start like sucking or something, and then we gotta go to Justin Fields or something. But if he does start to struggle against some of the better teams, we're gonna start playing better teams consistently going forward this back half of the schedule. Then I mean you
after the bye, it gets tough.
Washington out. I mean going into the year, I thought Washington that's a W. That's a W.
Yeah.
It's not a W.
The Commanders
Yeah.
could be favored in that game.
They
possibly.
should be. They should be.
If
favored.
They probably should. If Jaden Daniels
if he's
is healthy,
playing, they will be favored.
Yeah.
I would be shocked.
who would have
if they're
thought
not.
that?
Well, Marcus
Yeah.
Mariota was cooking this weekend still, though. I mean, I know it's the Panthers,
The
but
Panthers.
But I agree. I think Russell Wilson showed me something last. Yeah, I didn't know he
I
still
was
had.
shocked.
Like I thought when he came in, I just thought he would be somebody.
Hey, the numbers last year they weren't
I know.
bad.
Yeah.
Well,
But people they just saw that one year with Nat Hackett and it's like, okay, he's washed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I was when we signed Russ, I was like really pom-poms for him because I was like, everybody's saying he sucked last year, and I was like 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, fumbles a little bit, and the Broncos were a mess early
The Broncos
on.
roster is not
It wasn't a good
near
roster.
as good
Yeah.
as the Steelers roster.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a good roster. They were a mess. Their defense was pathetic. They gave up 70 to Miami. I mean, it
Right.
was just early on, and he kind of steered them back.
And the coach hated him.
Yeah.
No matter what, the coach
Sean
hated
Payton
him.
did, yeah.
Right. And remember, against Buffalo, they beat Buffalo on the road, and he had that good throw to Cortland Sutton,
was
that crazy,
amazing, yeah.
crazy catch. But so I was like, really excited, and I was like, he could, like, people were like saying he's gonna, he's washed or whatever. I mean, I thought he still had stuff in the tank, but like I didn't know he had this still. I mean, he threw for 276.
Yeah.
And he
246, I think, but yeah.
246. Okay, but he started out so poor.
246 for the Steelers. That's
That's like 346
Yeah.
for the Steelers. That's a lot of passing
And-
yards. We don't. That doesn't happen for us.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I loved getting George Pickens involved. He's just we saw it on Sunday night. Just crazy catchability.
And Russ underthrew some balls to him.
And he made great
still
catches.
made the catches.
But I still like that how he trusted George Pickens one-on-one. Like as much as I wanted to see Fields, he just didn't do that enough. He
Right,
just didn't.
yeah.
And you got it. He's not a top 5 receiver in the NFL, but he's easily a top 5 one-on-one receiver, and he's gonna make those catches. 80% of the time on a 50-50 ball. So
Yeah, and but yeah, I think next week, or I guess on this Monday night, if he plays well again, I know they said they're going to reevaluate after the bye, but if he plays well again, they're going to keep with Russell Wilson the rest of the year, barring something where he just starts throwing interceptions, like you mentioned, if he starts turning the ball over.
The Giants are a sneaky team, especially on the road. Their defense is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good defense. You got Dexter Lawrence up front.
He's been fantastic with
Yeah.
them.
Well, they call him Sexy Dex.
Yeah,
Sexy
Dexter.
Dexter.
What a name.
We got to be careful that, we win the line of scrimmage, especially, I don't know if Zach Frazier's going to be back. Mason McCormick has been so impressive.
He's done a great
Ryan
job.
McCollum was serviceable.
Yeah.
He got the snaps off. At least he got the snaps off.
Yeah.
Didn't have any issues there. They were kind of the Jets were kind of winning up front for a lot of the first half, and then the second half, our O-line started cooking.
Right.
And Najee got going. Najee finally getting going. I think his vision sucks, but if the O-line does its job, he's gonna do decent.
Right.
He's gonna be all right. But the Giants, good defense. Going into the bye, can't be lackadaisical. This is a prime time game. Tomlin loves these primetime games.
Does.
I think he's going to have the boys going, but can't take this one for granted. Brian Dable is a good coach.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to be ready on defense. I know it's Daniel Jones, but Brian Dable is going to have a game plan. He always does, and he's a good offensive coach. And their defense they've kept them in some. I mean, they beat Seattle. They beat Seattle on the road in the 12th man. So. Got to be careful with the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I think Steelers are 6.5-point favorites. I think that's way too many points. I think it's going to be a close game. But yeah, we'll get into picks. But I wonder what you're going to have to. Your favorite. I don't know what you're going to do.
So
for that game.
it's my favorite team against my favorite quarterback. So and I'm going to be going to the game. So hopefully Daniel Jones isn't getting benched. But yeah, no, I think the Steelers win this game. I think they're riding high right now. But like you said, you just never know with the Giants. Like they just might come in and win. This might be a trap game where we're riding high off dominating teams twice in a row, and then all of a sudden we lay an egg against the Giants. But
we've had a couple trap games this year we haven't fallen into. The
Right.
Raiders,
right. Broncos easily could have been like at the time. I mean, I know they're better now, but at the time, I mean, that could have been
but
easily a trap
you
game.
expect that to happen at some point.
Right.
So with Tomlin, it would be quite the. I mean, they're riding so high right now.
Yeah.
If you lose to the Giants going into the bye, that is a momentum killer.
Yeah, and I am nervous about Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence against our
I forgot
injured
about Brian
O-line. You know,
Burns.
that's something that you have to keep an eye on. And I know that our line's gotten better, but it's hurt. And that makes me nervous. It is just assuming Brian Burns is going up against the left tackle and our inside, our guards are going to have to do their job against Lawrence and Burns. So it's going to be interesting.
And I don't know, Thibodeau I don't know if he's playing right now. I know he was hurt last week, but I don't know if he's going to play. But if he's playing too, that's even, they have a really good defensive line. So that will be interesting for sure. I mean, I think offensive line play in this game will be key too because
and the Giants O-line is actually good.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones
usually it's like
stinks.
terrible.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew Thomas. I know he's hurt right now, but like he's been
really
fantastic. A lot of Giants fans weren't happy with the pick. They're like, "Oh, we won Mekhi Becton." So I'm like, Andrew Thomas looks a lot better than Mekhi Becton.
It ended up working out for them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they would take who they got.
Yeah.
Andrew Thomas. He's been excellent for them.
Yeah.
And usually, it is crazy. Usually, like every year, the Giants' O-line is like terrible.
Yeah.
And like you see Daniel Jones getting sacked like 5, 6. Now some of that is on the quarterback usually, but a lot of that is obviously on the offensive line as well. But I think offensive line play in this game will be key. But Steelers better win this one. Got to go into the bye 6-2. All right, shifting to our NFL picks for what week is this?
It's week 9 or no, week 8. Week 8.
Yeah, because Steelers haven't had the bye yet.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get these games up here. So we had
actually, I want to before we get into the picks.
Okay.
I want to tell everyone about the standings right now, and because I know, and Cashman was like, "What's the standings?" Even though I told you guys in the chat, but let's just put this on the record, okay? So, All right, let me tell you guys what's going on. So week 6, because we didn't have an episode last week. Week 6, we all did kind of terrible, I think.
Yeah.
Or no. I forget. I think week 6. No, week 6 we did really well. Everyone did really well.
Right.
Nathan Schivins, actually, because Cashman had like an okay week. Nathan Schivins took over first place for 1 week.
Wow.
For like a game or two.
The crown is heavy.
And then, yeah, he was
Then I
up.
fell
He was
off.
up by a game over Cashman because Cashman's had the lead for pretty much every week. And then Cashman last week he got angry, went 13-2.
Yeah.
He is now 66-39 on the year in picks.
Oh my
66-39. But you both are right behind. Cashman, last week Cashman went 13-2. Schivins went 10-5. You're only 2 games behind. You're in second place, 2 games behind Cashman. Jake Bell 11-4 last week. You're only 3 games behind Cashman, only 1 game behind him, 63-42. And then there's me. I am over 500, but I am way behind the pack. The last 2 weeks I went 10-4 and 9-6, but I still like not keeping up with you guys because you guys have just been doing so well. I'm 57-48 in last place, so I got a lot of ground to catch up on. But hey, I got a good start. Took the Rams last night. Finally, one of my upset picks goes well. Got a point on all of you.
Well, hey, the standard
Taking
isn't the standard anymore, right? You're well over 500 now. So.
Right, yeah, but last place.
Well,
This is like the NFC North. Everyone's dominant.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into these games. Okay, so first one here, we'll start off with kind of a layup, unless somebody wants to shock the world here. Jets-Patriots, where are we leaning? We on the Pats to pull off the upset? Drake May?
No.
No?
No.
I'm going to keep...
Oh, he's thinking about it.
I really want to go Drake May because I'm a big fan
If
of
the
his.
Jets
but
lose
You
this
said
game...
I'm going Jets because they need this win way more than
Yeah.
the Patriots.
If the Jets lose this game, there's going to be riots.
It's tank
in the
for...
streets.
They're going to...
Tank
They're
for
gonna
Shador.
get, no, wait, they're going to get Shador Sanders. That's what's going to happen, and then they're going
And
to
then
be
he's
in
gonna-
He
another
does feel
mess.
like a New York Jet.
Yeah.
He's going to destroy the locker.
Yeah.
And they're just going to...
Yeah.
Okay. So, we all on the Jets then?
Yeah.
We'll wait for
Yeah.
Cash. We don't know Cashman.
We don't know his picks yet. Yeah.
All right. This one's an interesting one. Eagles at the Bengals. Bengals 3-point favorites. That's kind of like the standard home favorite kind of line. Oh, man. What do we got for this one?
The Eagles, I haven't been sold on them all year. Still not sold on them. I mean, they barely beat the Browns 2 weeks ago. I got the better quarterback. I like the coach more. They're at home. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, their luck has got to start turning around here. I think they're going to still be a 9-10 win team. They're 3-4 right now.
3-4, yep.
I think they still have it. Kind of like the Rams too. Like I think both of those teams have just had some bad luck. I think the Rams has been more because of injury. The Bengals just like their defense is terrible. But give me Cincinnati at home.
This is going to be a very hot take, but I think the Eagles come into Cincinnati and they win by 2 scores. And the
By a
reason
lot,
why
wow.
I say this is because the Eagles have been playing this streaky football. Their coach.
I don't think this is a hot take.
Yeah.
They are the favorite. Or
Yeah.
no, the Bengals are the
Bengals,
favorite.
yeah.
What am I saying?
But
yeah.
I
It is a hot
don't know.
take.
I have a weird feeling. Like I'm probably gonna be wrong. Everyone's gonna play this back and say, "Jake, you're an idiot," and the Bengals are gonna win. But I'm just gonna go with my gut. And
And the
go with
Eagles, they can dominate at
They
times.
can,
I mean,
yeah.
we saw it against the Giants, but I mean, it's the Giants.
You're right.
And the Bengals defense is worse than the Giants
Yeah.
defense, although they have been a little better lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that'll be the big matchup. Saquon, is he going to...
Yeah.
He probably will run wild, but can the Bengals kind of keep up? I am going to take the Bengals. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
But I like what I've seen from the Bengals the last couple weeks. I think they will make the playoffs in a kind of weird AFC season where
Right.
there's a lot of bad teams who we thought may have been, pretty decent. So
Yeah.
I think they make the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Bengals to win this one, although, rooting interest, I don't even know because
Well,
I don't
it's
like
best
the Eagles.
if the Bengals lose.
Yeah, I don't.
But I might be taking the Bengals on this. I don't know. I got to think about it.
Think about
but,
it. Yeah, think of it. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. All right. Next.
63%. More people are on the Eagles in this game.
Wow.
Interestingly.
Well, maybe I am right. We'll see.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. But
All right, next one. Packers against the Jaguars. Jaguars with a huge win against the Patriots. Just a dominating performance.
Wow, amazing.
Are we back? I'm always on the Jags. They are 2-5, but you never know. Packers coming off a good win against the Houston Texans at home. They're 5-2 in a crowded NFC North.
Pack. Go Pack, go.
yeah,
Packers?
I agree.
Okay.
I think Jags are defeated, and I think Doug Peterson may lose his job if they lose. Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, they are
We'll see.
4-point dogs. Are they at home?
Yeah, Jacksonville's at home.
Okay. You got the Jags?
I have to ride with the
The Jags,
Jaguars.
yeah!
What is this, like 8 weeks in a row?
Every week I gotta pick the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, if you pick a team every week, they gotta win eventually.
Right.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. I have a feeling they gotta win at home. You know, they're pretty good. Well, like you mentioned, Doug Pearson, I feel like is coaching for his job.
That is, I didn't keep that. Yeah, that's true.
But it depends when you got a coach who's coaching for his job. It depends on if the players want the coach to stay around.
Right, yeah,
What is the level of effort they're going to give for Doug Peterson? I think they like Doug Peterson, and this is like going into the year, we thought this was going to be a pretty good team.
Yeah,
and you look at their roster, like Evan Ingram is a really good tight end. Christian Kirk, who he might be on the Chiefs.
They were a game
The
away
Jags
from being
will
in the
win some
playoffs.
games. Like they shouldn't be as bad as they are. I might take them here to cover the spread to be this be a close game. I mean, obviously the Packers seem so obvious here.
Yeah.
But I just love the direction of the Green Bay Packers right now.
Yeah.
I really do.
I wish we had Jordan Love, if I'm being honest.
Tell me about
This
it.
is just
He is a little bit more like Brett Favre than he
He
is
is,
Aaron
yeah.
the turnovers, but Jacksonville's defense.
Yeah.
they're bad. They are
Yeah.
very
They're
bad.
no longer Saxonville.
No, they are not. So I'm obligated to pick Jaguars every week, so I have to go with Jacksonville. If they pull off the upset, that's awesome, but I just got to pick them every week. So.
Yeah.
All right, next one. This one should be a best game of the year candidate. Titans against the Lions.
Oh.
Lions are favored
Mason let me down. I actually picked the Titans to beat the Bills last week. I thought that Mason was
Mason.
going to cook because the Bills are just they do stuff like that where they lose at home and like when they shouldn't. And they were down 10-0. Buffalo was down 10-0.
Yeah.
And they win 34-10. Very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they just traded Hopkins,
Right.
and the Lions they're getting hot. They're
Yeah.
getting hot.
Yeah, they are.
The offense is really clicking. They really need to get a pass rusher now with Aiden Hutchinson. I think Mason maybe has a better game, but yeah, Detroit can't go against.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I think Lions win. I think they're going to go in and do what Connor Howard's favorite quote is and break some kneecaps.
Connor
Like
Howard.
what Dan Campbell says.
Well, this
so.
he probably is rooting for the Lions in this one because they're not starting. The Titans aren't starting Will Levis.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that's
Why
true.
does he
He's
like
not-
Will Levis?
It's the same reason why I like Daniel Jones. We can't
at
explain
least
it.
Will Levis is he's kind of a
He's a goof. Yeah,
He's-
I just don't. Yeah.
he's a good he's
Yeah.
an idiot.
Well, I
I'm
just don't
sorry.
think. I think you got to earn commercials, and he got his mayonnaise commercials,
Yeah.
and he's a bum.
No one likes him in that locker room. I can guarantee it.
But yeah, I'm rooting. I obviously got to root for Mason Rudolph, but got to go with the Lions.
Yeah.
Got to go with the Lions.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next? Falcons at the Buccaneers. All right. So this is a huge game. This might be the biggest
But
game
the
for
Buccaneers, Todd Bowles destroyed them last week. Well, Mike Evans got hurt. He shouldn't have even been playing. I'm mad because I have him in fantasy. Mike Evans
Yeah.
should not have been playing.
I traded
was
him
limp-
before he got hurt.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
really?
but I did have Godwin too, though, and he's out for the year, so I
Well,
had to drop
that
him.
was a smart trade on your part.
It was
then.
because I got CD
Jeez.
Lamb
Well,
through
he's
it. And
he's
Derrick
limping
Henry.
on.
Oh my-
I was listening. He's limping on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
And they keep putting him back in the game. It's just like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and then the game's over, right? And you have Chris Godwin in there. And that was just, they couldn't even show the replay. That's how bad. So you have Chris Godwin out for the year, Mike Evans out until week 12.
Yeah.
I mean, these next few weeks for the Bucs are going to be critical because can Baker step up without his weapons? I don't know if he can overcome that. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have the wrong game up here. Hold up. Buccaneers. Who do you like, Jake Bell?
You know what? I'm going against you, and I'm going the Bucs just because I think Baker Mayfield is going to come in this game with a vengeance.
I didn't say my pick yet.
Oh.
But
that is
I wanted
true.
you to make your
But
pick.
No. Well, I will go against what you said about not being sure if Baker's going to step up.
I mean, I think he could.
Yeah.
I mean, he's proven all the doubters wrong for
He
the last
has,
2 years. But, I mean, this is a significant challenge.
Oh, it is, yeah. And I 100% agree. I think the Bucs win just because I think Baker is going to come in with a vengeance. They're home. While Atlanta is a very, possible, like, the away crowd could be in attendance for this game, but like because it's not that far away. But I think the Bucs win this game just because Baker's going to come in with a vengeance, and they're going to play for Mike Evans and Godwin because Mike Evans is the heart and soul of that team. He's been that way ever since his rookie season where he had over 1,000 yards, and obviously Godwin's become a staple in Tampa too. I did not think he'd last as long, and all of a sudden he has a breakout year, and he's one of the better receivers in the league. So I think they're going to be playing for them, and I think they win. Barely they'll win, but they'll win.
You want to make yours, or you?
I'm kind of mad at you, Jake Bell, because you stole my thunder. Because I was thinking about taking the Bucs, and I was gonna do it. And
I've convinced you.
No, I was going to do it before you even said, and I was hoping I'd be the only one to do it.
You're not going to be the only one.
But I guess I'm not because, I think Atlanta's defense is really bad, and I think, when a team faces adversity the next week, are they going to bounce back?
Right.
I think this gives them problems for the long term, but this is a huge game for that division. Yeah, I'm going to take a shot with the Bucs. And here's the thing. They outplayed Atlanta the first time.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have lost that game. Now, the Atlanta did just lost by 20 to Seattle at home.
Yeah.
So, I think Atlanta will win, but I'm going to take a chance with the Bucs. I am. I'm going to take a chance with them.
Yeah.
Looks like we're all riding with Tampa.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We are all riding with Tampa.
Okay, so I have no idea what's going to happen in this game because, like you mentioned, the Falcons just got blown out.
Cashman's going to pick up another point on all of us.
Well, he can save us.
He'll probably take the Falcon.
If he takes the Falcons, he can save our picks there. The Bucs will win then. But, I don't know. I mean, Atlanta's favored. I mean, I kind of understand it. But it is kind of crazy. Mike Evans, it seems like he's always hurt, but he plays every game. You know what I mean? Like it seems like always like his hamstring or his calf or something. It's like bothering him, but he plays like 15 games.
The Chris Godwin thing is really unacceptable. I mean, the game was over. What did he have, like a parlay or something? Like what is going on?
Yeah.
But
well, now the Falcons are winning because we all had this as our upset pick.
Yeah. Well, I got other.
I do
upsets.
have.
But I just think at home, like you said, the Bucs outplayed the Falcons for a large portion of that game when they first met. I think these are two very even teams, and I in the NFL too, like you only lose like 2 home games in a row if you're like trash, if you're like the Giants. So I'm gonna go with Tampa, but I could easily see the Falcons. I think we could all easily see the Falcons winning.
I mean, with no Evans and Godwin, I mean they're favored for a reason. So on the road.
All right, now this is an interesting line. This is an interesting game. Cardinals-Dolphins. Is Tua playing?
Tua is back. He is back.
Okay, so that's why they're favored.
Yep.
Okay. What do we got? What do we got in this one? Where are we leaning?
Well, yeah. I'm going with Arizona.
Same.
We're stealing each other's thunder here.
Yeah.
We're all going Arizona.
I mean, I think that they're really a favorite public underdog.
Yeah.
But like,
they've shown that they could whoop teams too. They have that ability.
Tua off this concussion thing. I mean,
he's gonna be really rusty, don't you think? I just feel like this is something that you a concussion too.
This is a desperation move by the Dolphins, which I don't understand. You got to look for the best in your quarterback, but
Their quarterback situation has been awful.
It has been awful.
They have no capable backup.
Right.
Yeah.
They should have beat the Colts last week, but they just.
And when you have injury history like two, you should have gone out and signed like a good paid money for a good backup quarterback.
Right. Like I was gonna say maybe Sam Darnold, but he would have looked he'd rather be a starter with the Vikings than take more money with the Dolphins.
So you're taking Arizona
I am
too?
taking Arizona. Yep.
I am as well.
This is bad news.
Yeah, I should have taken the Cardinals against the Chargers. I've been going against the Chargers, so I was like, I'm gonna pick the Chargers here. But Arizona's a good football team. I mean, they're not,
I don't know if they're a good football.
Yeah, I mean
team.
they're good. I mean, good football
it depends.
team is
They're one of those teams you just can't figure out on a
Right.
week-to-week basis.
Well, their defense has played better than I thought they would,
Yeah.
especially recently. And I like Kyler Murray. Nobody gives him the credit he deserves. I think he's a good quarterback. Even like on the broadcast, they were like dissing him as like, oh, what is their ceiling is not where they need to be with Kyler Murray.
Right.
Like, I think he's a pretty good top half of the league kind of quarterback. And I think Arizona gets the W, and the Dolphins, I think they're going to get bad karma for this move.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, like you mentioned, Jay. I mean, it's something that you got to look out. You paid him big money.
Yeah.
He's your future quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're gonna bring him in for the 7th game of the season. You're 2-4.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't understand.
And
Unless he's like clearly like healthy,
Right.
And he's clearly clear and everything.
And they'll have to win out to make you have any faith of them in the playoffs.
Right.
Like if they go 8-9, like what's the point of that? Like
Yeah.
it's you might as well get a better draft pick at that point.
Right. So I'm gonna go with Arizona, but yeah, I mean, I feel worse about this now that everybody's taking the Cardinals too.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this would be a crazy upset if this happened. Ravens-Browns. Ravens 8.5-point favorites on the road.
Yeah.
Browns, a lot of bad stuff happening for them. Their record obviously is poor. Their performance. I mean, I thought they fought really hard though against the Bengals. They made that close. They were in that game. Don't know why Jameis Winston's the backup right now. I really don't. Over Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah.
Maybe Jameis is better than Dorian Thompson.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think it may have
Jameis is starting.
No.
Yeah, he is.
I thought he is.
Oh, he is
I
starting
thought he
now?
was. I thought so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see him for this
Well,
game.
I think during that game they had him as the
emergency.
like it was a
third
Russell
string.
Wilson type thing, but I think he.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. I thought they just like went with Dorian Thompson-Robinson over him just for like, I don't know, for no reason. I was like,
Yeah.
why is? But okay. So never mind. All right. It's Jameis Winston starting. So okay. Now I got to go with the
I'll
Browns.
be taking the Browns to cover in this game at home against Baltimore, but I can't pick them to win. I just can't do it.
Yeah, same here. I have Ravens. It's just Ravens are red hot. I would say, division game, this could be a sneaky, but I think the Ravens got some of their losses out of the way, and now they're like, okay, we're one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the best. And we need to, they're going to go on a run at some point. I think this is the start of it.
It's weird. The Ravens' defense has not been good this year.
It hasn't.
I
yeah.
don't know what's. Usually that's like a staple of Ravens
Patrick
football.
Queen, we stole him from
We
them.
stole Patrick, but they got Roquan Smith there. I mean,
Yeah.
they got guys. Now they got kind of lucky. Baker Mayfield was just throwing it right to Marlon Humphrey
Yeah, he was.
on Monday night. Marlon Humphrey, what a crazy guy. But
Yeah.
it is kind of weird how the Ravens, and this is kind of concerning though for me. They on offense they've just been awesome.
Yeah.
But with Derrick Henry's been running all over teams, but defensively it has been kind of weird. But that's not gonna be an issue in this game. Although Jameis Winston's starting, I'm a big fan of Jameis Winston. I think he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he is.
So, but I'll take the Ravens, but I hope the Jameis Winston plays well.
Yeah.
Okay, an AFC South game again. It's kind of crazy. The Colts are 4-3. It's the Colts Texans. Houston 5-point favorites at home. Texans coming off a loss where they easily could have won that game. Probably should have won that game against the Packers.
No, well, they got outplayed.
Yeah,
they
but
got all of their points off turnovers.
Well-
the offense didn't do anything
Yeah.
in that game at all for the Texans.
It has been weird. They've had a couple games. C.J. Stroud it hasn't been a sophomore slump, but there's been a couple games where he
Right.
hasn't played well. Who do we got in this one?
I know. I know exactly what I'm going with.
You going with the Colts?
No, I'm going Texans. I think they blow the Colts out. I think they're going to come
Anthony
off
Richardson.
this. Yeah.
I mean, They barely beat the Dolphins last week
Yeah.
with no Tua.
I'm a big
I
fan of
mean,
Richardson. I think they're screwing him. I think he should have sat the entire year last year under Minshew. Have Richardson focus on being healthy and focus on learning how to be a quarterback. They just threw him in. He got hurt. They threw him in the Steeler game way too soon.
I don't think
and he got hurt.
I don't think
so.
he can read the field.
Yeah, I think
He's
that's
a
something.
turnover
That's something
machine.
he should have learned with the season.
Shane Steichen is a great offensive coach, but
Yeah.
I mean he can't get anything going with this kid.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they screwed Richardson over. It's sad because I think he's very talented and he's a good guy. And there's a world where it would be the same way with Mahomes. You know, I truly think if Mahomes would have been rushed into a team like the Bears with like at the time with Trubisky, I should say, the Bears are better now than with Trubisky's rookie year. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans. You got the Texans?
I do got the
What do you
Texans.
got?
Yeah,
Texans.
I think they're gonna blow the Colts
I think
out.
it's
I might take the Colts to cover here.
yeah. This is like
In division game, I mean the Colts gave the Texans everything they had last time with Richardson.
They did.
Yeah.
Actually, and yeah.
you're like
I'm like
Second
reconsidering.
guessing.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking I want to.
I don't like how we have the same upset picks. So
I'm
far. I
taking
don't
the
like-
Colts. I'm
You're
changing
taking-
my
Oh,
mind.
okay, there we go.
Oh.
Saving our on college game day when someone picks, the team that everyone's picking one team and then someone picks the other team. They say they save the graphic, so you kind of save the graphic for us. even
the
though
Colts.
we have no graphic,
Yeah.
we just have a notebook and paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans. Although, I mean, all indications would point to, like you said, Jake, the Colts getting just blown out in this game, not
Yeah.
scoring. Which is why I feel like they're gonna keep it close.
Yeah, honestly,
You know what I mean?
I'm the worst jinx of all time.
I mean,
I am. That's just a fact. And the Colts might blow the Texans out.
Andrew Filipponi is the worst. I
Yeah.
love you, Filipponi.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
But
That's true.
so I'm gonna go with Houston, and I mean, but if the Colts win that, both are tied top of the AFC South.
Yeah.
And they got the tiebreaker so
Yeah.
far. Or well, I guess they would both have a win against each other.
Yeah.
So all right, now we're moving to the 4:00 window. Saints, Chargers. Again, both teams coming off losses. Saints are a mess right now.
My God.
Their defense is horrific.
Yeah.
I pick the Saints like every week the last 3 weeks.
You gonna
And
pick them
Pick
again?
them while they've been
Disaster.
losing. Yeah.
You gonna pick them again?
No, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers. They're 7-point favorites. I mean, that just goes to show you the Saints are just such a mess.
Yeah.
Harbaugh off a loss. I'm gonna take the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers too. I think they'll win. I don't have much of an explanation other than I think they're going to beat the Saints. So.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Spencer Rattler, it's still. I
Yeah.
don't know why Jake Hayner's not getting some reps right now. I don't know why Spencer Rattler's. I mean, Hayner was the better quarterback prospect coming out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Out of Fresno, and Spencer Rattler's never been impressive.
Yeah,
as a
he's
quarterback.
always had the talent. Like he throws
Right.
He has a good arm, but like I don't know. He may still have leadership issues. I don't really know. I don't know. Like,
So I'm taking the Chargers, but I would love to see another Bub Means touchdown.
yes, yes.
That was great to see Bub Means get.
Bub Means business.
Some,
Bub.
Bub.
Bubby.
We got Bub Means and Bub Carrington. We got all the. It's like.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Bub Carrington, and he made his debut with the
Yep.
Wizards last night. I don't know. I didn't see. He started the game. He was starting.
Well,
I think
I'll pull up his points while we go
I
to
saw.
the next.
I saw his first bucket. It was that classic mid-range jump shot
Yep.
where he like spins around towards the hoop, and he's just so smooth with that.
Yeah,
But the Wizards, they probably lost by 50.
they
were
lost
just-
by 20.
Who they?
Bub Carrington put up 3 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds in 26 minutes. So you could tell he's raw.
Yeah,
Like,
but who
that's
they
just how it
play?
is. The Celtics.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So they. Okay. All right. We're getting sidetracked. All right. Bub Carrington. We love Bub Carrington. He showed up to the game wearing Pitt gear. He had like Pitt stuff on.
Yep, gotta
And
represent.
he was repping.
Yep.
I know he loved his time here.
Yeah.
You always would like to see him, stick around more just because he was going to be
Yeah.
great.
But if you could go to the NBA as a
But
lottery
if you're
pick,
going to
you'd
go to the NBA,
You can't blame him. We'd rather that than you transfer.
yeah.
So
All right, back to football. Bills Seahawks. This is an interesting game.
oh
Bills looking really good recently after that kind of 3-2 stretch there, won a couple in a row. Seahawks got a big, huge win against the Falcons on the road, and I mean, you look at that division. I mean, with the Niners not playing well right now, it's anyone's. Rams could win that division.
Yeah.
I said this to they were like, the Rams are out of it. I said,
Yeah.
This is a good football team. They're just injured. They get Cup Nakua. Look, they're beating the Vikings, honestly one of the better teams in football.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they they're gonna get healthier on defense. I picked the Rams to win that division. I still think they're gonna win that division. I'm still banking on the Rams unless they decide to sell. But
they better not. There's no reason to. I mean,
there's
after
no
that win,
reason to sell.
They just beat one of the better teams in football.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. All right. So who do you got? Bills, Seahawks.
Oh, Bills. That's a good game. I mean, the Seahawks.
Yeah.
You never know what you're getting with that team.
Right.
It's just the Seahawks dominated the Falcons last week on the road. Yeah. Wait. The Seahawks are at home, right?
Yeah, they are at home.
Yeah. People are still not buying the Seahawks. I'm not really buying them. But I don't buy the Bills either that much. They're going to be good, but they're going to win their division. Yeah, I'm going to go for Seattle.
You know what? I hate to steal your thunder again, but I'm going Seattle.
I'm going to go
I wrote it. I
Seahawks.
swear I wrote it down before you said anything. I don't know why. It's weird how good the Seahawks have been, and it's going to be even weirder whenever they beat the Bills.
I mean, I think their coach is pretty good as a defensive coach.
Yeah.
I think that defense is going to get better.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, the Falcons have a pretty good offense, and they didn't do anything.
Right.
So, at home,
Yeah.
Seattle.
Well, I'm not with you guys this time. I'm not going to join in on
It's
the.
probably for the best.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Bills. I think the Amari Cooper edition. I mean, Amari
it's a big addition.
is a huge one, and they connected immediately. That was so funny. He was like, "What route am I running?" He didn't even know. And he just just a slant up the middle. But I really like how the Bills have looked, especially against. I know Tennessee's not a great team, but I thought Mason Rudolph. We like Mason Rudolph, but I thought you could elevate the Titans a little bit. And they were winning that game for a little bit, but the Bills, it was good to see them putting up a lot of points. I know Mike McDonald, he's supposed to be, defensive guru. It's kind of funny how these coordinators who were like, offensive base or defensive base, and then their unit is like awful so far. But I know it's his first year and everything, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And they weren't very talented defensively anyway.
Yeah.
But
Geno Smith seems like it's his type of quarterback, a veteran that's just going to be safe with the football for the most part.
Yeah. I know the Seahawks can score and everything, but I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game, and I think the Bills are just a little better in the end. Josh Allen does like something crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the difference in some of these games. It's like, Josh Allen and kind of a tier above Geno Smith.
Yeah.
And can Geno Smith make those plays? I think he can, but consistently. Yeah. That's kind of what separates, the average to good quarterbacks from the great. But I'm going to take the Bills, but see, that's a tough place to play up there in Lumen Field.
Sure.
But they lost to the Giants, at home. They lost to somebody else too, didn't they? At home that they should have beat. I don't know.
It's just weird. It's
kind of weird right now with.
Yeah, I hate taking Geno Smith over Josh Allen, but it is what it is. Got to do what we got to do here.
All right. We got more games. I thought. Bears Commanders. Now Chicago's 3-point favorites on the road. I don't think at the moment Jane Daniels is going to be playing. I don't know if they ruled. Have they said anything about that? I haven't seen.
I think they're going to try and practice him today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to be banged up.
Yeah.
Again, I've been riding with the Bears. They've been winning. They're going to keep winning.
Okay.
Banged up Jane Daniels. They have a very, very elite defense. This is a top 5 defense. Top 7 maybe defense in football. Commanders defense, they're getting better under Dan Quinn. This is a young, this defense is still developing. Give me Caleb Williams off a bye.
Off a
bye. They're off a bye. Give me the Bears.
As much as I hate on Caleb Williams and the Bears, I'm going with them this week. The Bears.
Caleb's been getting better.
The
every
Bears
week.
Are going to beat
the
Commanders.
Okay. All signs indicate that the Bears are going to win this game, right? I mean,
Marcus, let Mariota cook.
Off a bye.
Yeah,
if he plays.
I didn't factor in that, but I still think Bears.
They'll eat his lunch. The Bears.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's your opinion.
Oh.
Off a bye. Off a bye. I know they're off a bye. I know Marcus Mariota is probably going to play this game, but this is the Bears we're talking about. They always something goes wrong. The Commanders are riding high right now. Everything's pointing towards the Chicago Bears to get this win, but I'm going with Marcus Mariota. He's going to chew up that stingy Bears defense.
Yep.
That's off a bye.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with the Commanders to win. Benicia.
Because I didn't. Never mind. Yeah.
All right, let's go through these kind of quickly. We got Panthers Broncos. Are we all going Broncos?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh.
Panthers Broncos. Oh yeah. Broncos.
Okay.
Broncos.
Okay. All right. Chiefs Raiders. Anybody picking the Raiders?
No.
Hell no.
Cashin the Raiders.
Sorry, Cash.
I don't even think Cashin's taking the Raiders at
Yeah.
this point. He said, he's
Wait, what is that? Chiefs.
Chiefs at the Raiders. Yeah. Okay. Cowboys Niners.
Jake.
Niners.
Niners.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
You're taking the Cowboys.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm gonna go with the Niners too at home. The Cowboys are just a
Yeah.
joke right now. I mean, they're very banged up right now, and it's just hilarious seeing with them right now what they're doing. But it's kind of funny seeing the Niners 3-4 too. But I think the Niners.
The Niners
that.
are having the worst luck in the league this year, and they're injured too.
Yeah.
I'm taking Dak. I like Dak more than Brock Purdy.
Well.
I'm saying it anyway.
Okay, and then Giants Steelers. Are we
Steelers.
all? Are you not on the Steelers, or what are you? You're gonna take the G?
I'm riding. I'm riding. No. I'm riding with Russ.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say I was
Russ.
like Daniel Jones. But no.
I'm riding with Russ.
When he said I'm riding, I knew he was taking the Steelers.
Yeah,
but
Steelers.
Okay. So those are our picks. We'll see how we do.
Steelers.
Yep.
Steelers.
Stiller.
Okay. All right. Now we'll wrap up the show. I don't know if we have time for trivia. We're talking about the World Series.
We'll do that next time.
World Series briefly. 5 minutes.
So this is very compelling matchup here. It's the matchup that Rob Manfred is very happy for in Major League Baseball. They love that the Yankees and the Dodgers are going to be playing the ratings. Although they're so bad with marketing. I don't know. The NHL's not great either with it, I don't think. But I mean they had the Dodgers and the Mets on FS1, and they had like the Masked Singer, like give me a break on Fox. Like what are you doing?
Right.
What are we doing? But so they're very happy with this. Yankees, Dodgers, a lot of stars, huge payrolls.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great for the league in terms of big markets.
Yeah.
This is amazing. The ratings are through the roof. The ticket prices.
Yeah, they're gonna be sky high. Good luck trying to get a ticket for under like 3. I don't know.
No, the average ticket price is like $1,300, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, something like that. Over 1,000.
I was underselling it. All right, so we'll get to where we're leaning, but what are some matchups we feel like in the Yankees-Dodgers that could decide the series?
The bullpens. Yeah. I don't trust the Yankees, but Luke Weaver has been a godsend. But, I mean, is he really an elite closer? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
The bullpen for the Yankees, I just don't trust it.
Yeah.
Look at the back end of the Dodgers bullpen in the postseason. Excellent. Trinan, Evans, or what? Not Evans. Evan Phillips. Phillips and Michael Kopech. Although Michael Kopech was an opener once, so I don't know what but he's been their closer. And I think that's going to be the difference. Everyone's like, starting pitching. I think Yankees may have a little bit of an edge there. But in the World Series, these starting pitchers come out early. Because they're all these managers are looking at the analytics and starting. It's about the bullpens.
Right.
Whose bullpen do I trust more? I trust the Dodgers bullpen more. And when I think of the Yankees teams of the past, I said this on Sideline. I really like those teams that won the World Series. I fear those teams.
Right.
Those teams. Okay, you got Judge. He hasn't been good in the postseason. You got Soto. The rest of that lineup, it's like, I just don't fear them. I don't fear them. And I fear this Dodgers team. I mean, they're stacked from top to bottom. I think it's going to be a great series, a lot of star power. But I'm going with the Dodgers here.
I am going with the Yankees, and this is why. Throughout the entire playoffs, the Yankees were still able to find ways to advance, and Aaron Judge wasn't doing so well. And
True.
I know that one player out of
If
nine, like one hitter out of 9 guys in your lineup shouldn't affect everything, but Aaron Judge is such an important part of the team because of how mediocre the rest of the lineup is, other than Juan Soto, obviously. But that gives me hope that I think that Judge will get it going, and I think that will be the deciding factor, really. I think both teams are very similar in their own ways, but I think other than the Dodgers have a deeper lineup, it doesn't make much sense because I feel like the Dodgers would be favored, but I feel like the Yankees are going to win the World Series. It's going to take a while. It's going to take 6 or 7 games, but
This series is going 6 or 7. This is going to be a great series.
Yeah.
And if that's the big key. If Aaron Judge does get going, then the Yankees have a real shot. But
Right.
he hasn't been doing much.
He hasn't.
And I think the Dodgers are going to find a way to pitch around him.
yeah.
Or to
Give him the Barry Bonds treatment.
to pitch around Soto,
Yeah.
maybe, and attack Judge. And Judge just hasn't been. He's just been one of those guys. Hasn't been good. He's a great player. Just hasn't been good in the postseason. When I look at the two faces of the franchise, I look at Ohtani and I look at Judge. They're both great, but Ohtani feasts in every situation.
He does. He's unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
that's another big thing. I trust the Ohtani factor more than I trust the Soto Judge factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like what you were saying, Jake, the kind of deciding factor, I think, in this series is going to be how the players around Judge and Soto perform.
Yeah.
Torres and Stanton have been huge.
They have,
Especially Stanton.
Stanton's been great for them. I mean, if they can, I think if they can kind of contribute, because we've seen the Dodgers, and we know that this is what's going to happen. The Dodgers got a deeper lineup, but some of these guys like Kike Hernandez and Chris Taylor, I mean, you have a good feeling they're going to come up clutch, and Hernandez has already been doing that. And but for the Yankees, it's like I feel like it's from series to series. Like do you know for sure? I think Alex Verdugo really going to step up. I think because you've had a poor season, but that can all be forgotten if you come up clutch in the World Series here and deliver. You'd hope to deliver a championship for the Yankees, number 28. But I want to go with the Yankees. I'm not a fan of either team at all.
Yeah, right.
But
I don't have a problem with either team.
But we got Cashman.
I'm going to be rooting for the Yankees because of our good friend Brian Cashman.
Yeah.
Brian, sorry. You had a good run, but you beat the Guardians and the Royals. You got a Mickey Mouse way of getting here, buddy. I love you.
Ooh.
But
Wow,
Dodgers
shots
in
fired.
6.
No, but Dodgers in 6. Yeah, what I was gonna say was when we said hopefully it's gonna be a longer series. Major League Baseball is gonna make sure it's a longer series.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's why they have the 73rd ranked umpire as the head crew chief.
Are you serious?
It's something terrible. Yeah.
Oh,
The
wow.
highest rated umpire was 18th.
There's going to be so many bad
They're gonna-
calls.
Yeah, that's why. Because
whatever team is like.
Bring in the robo-umps now.
If the Dodgers are up 2-1 in the series or something, the Yankees are gonna get all the calls or something. But I feel you gotta favor the Dodgers. I mean, Ohtani's just made such a difference, and Soto's made such a difference for the Yankees too.
Yeah.
And they're getting Freddie Freeman back.
That's true.
But it's just like Ohtani, Betts, Freeman,
it's just that
Will
lineup.
Smith, Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
And
It's not like any
Enrique
of the,
Hernandez is a different. He's like Connor Joe in April in the postseason.
It's not a
He's
lineup
like,
that any team has had, let alone the Dodgers. Like
And
the
Tommy-
Pirates have never had.
I'm not
a
even
lineup
talking
like
about Tommy Edman, who was the MVP of the NLCS.
Bro, what an addition!
Yeah.
What an
He's
addition!
been awesome. So
that. Oh.
this is
no way.
Look at this.
We got
We're gonna-
visitors, Brian Cashman.
We got
Here, just come share the mic with me.
Let's go Yankees. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go
Yankees.
Cashman, he's here. He's got to catch a flight.
Little
But
going on?
Little late.
Oh, yeah,
traffic.
boys.
Here,
Good.
you
How
gotta
are
be-
you, Nick?
Little late. Traffic was
Boise
bad this
State.
morning, but my private
Boise
jet's
State.
about to go in LA. Game 1 of the World Series. Make sure you watch
What's
it.
your
Yep.
prediction, Cashman? What's the key for you guys? What's the key?
The key's to pitching and Aaron Judge. If we can get a good start to these games, I think that's very important on the road in Game 1. But we're going to win it in 5. We're going to win it in front of the greatest fans in the world, in the Bronx. It's going to be buzzing there. I can't wait.
My delusional friend, Brian Cashman.
Well,
Yankees
he
in
gets an
7.
excuse to be delusional.
in
He's the
7.
GM of the Yankees.
Nick
so.
Schermino, Yanks in
Yeah.
7.
I have the Yankees winning, by the way.
Somebody in
So,
7.
What do you got?
What'd you say?
Somebody in 7.
No,
Fair
you were
enough.
you were on the Dodgers, remember?
You were trashing the GM of the Yankees on sideline
On
live.
sideline.
Yes.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
you know what Cashin woke up to
Honestly.
this morning?
What do you wake
New
up
York, New
New York.
York.
Mo Bamba. We set the tone.
Literally,
Tone
literally,
this
bro woke me up playing Mo Bamba.
It's game day. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
All right,
but
we gotta
No,
catch
no,
your flight.
we're gonna be-
I gotta get a flight, but let's go Yankees.
Yep.
That's a perfect way to wrap
Thank
up.
you.
Brian
All right.
Cashman,
Yep.
thank you for stopping
Thank
by.
you guys.
We got some other people coming in here,
Absolute
so
honor.
Thank you
all
guys.
righty.
All right, so do we have predictions? You guys want to do
Yeah, we
predictions?
said I
What'd you
said
say?
Dodgers at 6.
Dodgers in 6.
I said Yankees in 6 or 7.
I say Dodgers in 7. And anything else? I don't think we're gonna have time for trivia here. We're going.
No, we'll do that next.
Yeah,
We'll do
next
that next
time.
week.
Next time trivia.
Yep.
Looking forward
It's
to it.
Stillers. Yep.
Stillers. All right. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with others. We
Yep.
are family Pittsburgh Sports Podcast. Thank you all for watching. We've gotten some pretty good numbers here in terms of viewership so far. But make sure you
Keep
subscribe.
it up. Share
Yeah.
So
share
with
the
others.
videos.
Subscribe.
To
We're
2 people. Share the video to 2 people you know.
yes. Call to action. It's a cause worth
Yep.
fighting for. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope everybody has a great day. Let's go Pitt. Stillers.
Hail to Pitt.
Yep.
Stillers.
Pitt's gonna win the national. I don't think Pitt's
Yes.
gonna lose again. I don't think
no,
they are.
It's not.
12 and
happening.
0.
Yes.
the
College football
No,
playoff.
Yeah.
the
15
aura
and 0,
the
hopefully.
aura of Kyle
Home college
Lewis.
playoff
Yep.
football playoff game.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you guys.
See ya.